Howdy doody, everybody. Welcome back to the Big Show, Thursday morning at Cold to the Pen HQ. Redheaded stepchild of the Hammer Betting Network. Hat tip Rob Pizzola, Pizza Man, bringing you the large round. That's me, at John Laghezza. Find me at John Laghezza on the Bird app. Any time of day, any day of the week. Because we get it and we fit around here. Mr. Matt Williams, good morning, buen dia. Jeff L., the same to you, my friend. Brian, GC. How are we? Hope we're ready to have some fun today. The MLB schedulers are at it again. Insight, bright and early. We see you. I see you. I think, there are 30 teams and 162 games, and still somehow we end up with days like today. There's all of 4 games. There's only one in the afternoon because of the makeup from yesterday. Just a wild day in scheduling. I'd rather just get like a full day off, man. Why don't they just do that? Anyway, fastest show in MLB absolutely anywhere. Again, these are a lot of fun, right? We just have a couple of games, though I do have some plays, which we will get to. But on the shorter slates, I really like to focus on, the theory, right? A little bit more of the thinking sometimes to show, right? Fastest show in MLB anywhere. We can just say it. We're blazing through stats, blazing through games, kind of making some assumptions about the strength of the viewership here. How sharp people are. It's the truth. We ask a lot of you guys. And that's why I'm always so appreciative of people like Insight, Fire Sports, Matt Williams, Jeff L., Brian Rose, and the like people that are, adding to the tapestry here, right? This show is definitely a little bit different. It's certainly immersive. Well, that's how I like to think of it. It's not talking head telling you what to do. I happen to be at the soapbox right now, but my ears are, as wide open as my mouth are. That's our first lesson, right? Always be open-minded, always be malleable. Don't be too proud. And, especially in this betting space, I get it's highly competitive, which is very weird. Matt and I share, very common thread, similar tenet in this approach. And, screw the books. We should be working together and hammering these fools. Like, are we defending corporate America here? Why are we allowing them to divide us? And that's kind of what happens. People yelling at each other and fighting and not working towards the common goal. And then, I'm going to feed him. That's what nobody's talking about. And it's so ridiculous. You know what I mean? We should be working together. And maybe that's my second point. One of many probably coming today. Well, like I said, I'm a model better. I run the MLB Moving Averages Algo. For anybody unfamiliar, you can check out my work on Twitter. It's my baseline for everything. There's a link, if you search on the data dumps, that'll take you to Sharpener. You could follow along with all the sheets. $20 worth the rest of the season. I think it's worth the steal. Again, you're going to learn, hopefully, how to build these things into profit. Matt, I'm going to get to that in a second. And that's where I was going. Me and Matt are so simpatico. Where I was going with the idea of being malleable, being open-minded, and myself, I was always a model better, right? Betting kind of totals and sides. That became the F5 model when bullpens just spun out of control with the offense and you want to bet on pitching. I got tired of the 3-hour up and down. I moved to F5. It was successful for a couple of years, still been successful, but not as much because the books have kind of made their move, right? There's always, I used to bring in the Star Wars stuff, right? When I moved to F5, right, it was the return of the Jedi and the Empire struck back. So I don't mind looking at people that I think are great at this. Matt is one of them. A Dream, who we've had on the show. Now, Matt had kind of Frankie, our boy, Frank Amarante, under his wing. It kind of showed him a bit of the way Frank was always super sharp. But now, again, being open to the idea that there were other people doing it correctly. You don't copy them. You take the best parts of their game and try to apply it to your own. And let's get to my comment from Maddie already. We should bet every 0.5K under just to see what happens. Matt, I imagine you mean at plus odds, though, right? Some of them are minus 180, which is obviously not as good as knocking down these. I'm knocking down plus 150s, plus 170s, plus 180s daily. You put up 8 bets, you hit 4 of them, you're pretty much ahead. You hit 3, you might be right at even. Again, we're open to some bad calls. Somebody actually DM'd me, they were surprised I was complaining, which I generally don't like bitch and moan about stuff. But I had Eloy Jimenez at plus money to not strike out. It was 3-2. That was the worst call of like the month. I mean, so not only should it have been ball 4, it was in the other batter's box, and it also wasn't even the only pitch. The first pitch of that bat was also outside. So, Matt, I agree with you. I think the books are using season K percentages, and I think they're a bit behind if you bring in some of the nuance in the context that you get here. D-Rock, Taco Core, what's up? Thank you so much. Always supporting my work. I really do appreciate everybody out there. It means a ton. Rate, review, and subscribe if it really does matter. Press the cartoon thumb and the cartoon bell and what other cartoon images you see, because that shite all matters a little bit more than it should. All right, let's talk about some baseball. How about that? Let's go to a baseball show. Again, really just not too many games. Yeah, Jeff L said the Eloy over. Although another one, I don't know if they've hit bet stamp, which we're using to help people shop around. Another big part of the game being early. Again, one of Maddie's claim to fame. Sopping up those plus EV bets, getting in front of CLV, and oftentimes getting in front of entire full line moves. In particular, when it comes to pitching props, strikeouts, and stuff like that. I don't know how you're not looking at this early. I feel like you're doing it wrong. And again, people that follow my work, hopefully you gravitate towards my stuff because I try not to dictate very much. But I really do feel like that's doing it wrong. Because you're getting a worse line at a worse price. I mean, it's like a 360 loss if you're trying to jump on late. Part of why I've actually liked moving this show to 9:30. It's still a bit early. The West Coast's not really up yet. So let's dig into some baseball. Up, this is the makeup game, so this is the first game on the docket. Shohei Ohtani and the Angels going to Detroit Rock City to face Matt Manning and Los Tigres in 8 Mile. Ohtani, 3.71 ERA, 112 whip. The OPS is 661. All the indicators looking absolutely beautiful. First little detour. Again, I will take a few detours today. I know Matt's here, so I'm kind of curious because Matt also does some fantasy stuff. We've had Cubby Knoll in the room helping us with some fantasy stuff as well. Man, after I ran those correlations on, FIP and XFIP and Sierra, and none of them tested out nearly as well as expected ERA, I've really kind of kept my third eye on that. XFIP came on its walk ERA and Sierra all at 3.5, expected ERA at 4. 32% K rate is beautiful. I think it even matched some of the 10% walk rate. People kind of draw that 10% walk rate. It's like, the double-digit walk rate. Listen, it's 100 batters. If you walked one less batter in, 100 plate appearances would be 9. Would it make much of a difference? Probably not, because he's got the swing and miss stuff. 22 came on his BB, 13 swing and strike, 30.5 CSW, 30.5 whiff rate, 31.5 whiff rate, excuse me. He hasn't gotten in front, hasn't induced the chases. So as much as I like Ohtani, he's the opposite of a bully. Inside, I got Manning game 1 and Lorenzen game 2. Again, it's very difficult to say with any sort of, say definitively, I should say. I have found the highest degree of accuracy. Again, I've done this a very long time, every single day. I find the MLB app is the most accurate. If they have a name, I put it in my sheet. If not, I do my best to infer. Fangraphs has a probable grid. Fantasy Pros has a probable grid. RotoWire has a probable grid. I try and do my best to amalgamate all of them, although I've generally found that I'm wrong all the time. Right, the Boston's done some dippity-doo with starters. Kansas City, Oakland does it all the time. You think Harris is going, he's not. They have an opener, it's Medina, it's not. So, yeah, I have Manning in game 1. let's take a look at Matt Manning. I mean, I'm not sure if I have a larger, scream for negative regression for Matt Manning. So check it out. Surface stats jumping off the page, right? So the the, the rest of Twitter, right? All the momos. 319 ERA, 101 whip, 598 OPS. Matt Manning's been fantastic. And well, I guess there's something to be said for that. Just not buying. You got to pop the hood, right? XFIP at 5.5, Sierra North at 5, even the expected ERA rating of 4.5. 17% K rate's very low for an 8% walk rate. Again, 8% walk's not terrible, but for 70K, 9% K minus BB, 6.5 swing and strike, 16.5 whiff, 10% miss rate also. So I'm glad to have this extra, the extra few minutes today to dive into it. Jay is saying I got it wrong, which is funny. That means that they physically swapped it already. Jay saying Manning and Sandoval 440, Ohtani, Lorenzen at 110. Hold on one second, everybody. We can do this. I can do this one pretty quick. All right, so let's do that. I'm sorry, I'll correct it. We'll get back to Manning and the regression later on. So it's Lorenzen, All-Star, MLB All-Star, Mike Lorenzen. 3.49, ERA 109, whip 646 OPS. He's been pretty good. Indicators all smudged around that 4.5. Again, very mad. 19K to 6.5 walk. The 6.5 walk is where I'd like to be. It's single-digit swing and strike, 22 whiff, 8.5 miss, 86 zone contact. So he is going to be pitching the contact to this Angel team, and this is where I think the handicap lies. Although the modeling I did was for Manning, I don't think it should matter much for Lorenzen. I've got LA to cover this one up pretty easily through 5. Jay, let's take that even money, even minus 105. That's Los Angeles Angels, first 5. All right, let's dive back into it. Sorry about the quick derailment. So we want to look at the offenses, like I mentioned, Lorenzen he's not getting the Ks. The Angels have struck out. That's been the bugaboo. So without, the pitcher that induces the whiffs and induces the misses in the zone, I think you get the better side of the Angels. That offense has been very good as of late. 260 team BA, 354 OBP, 846 team OPS was very good. 11.5 walk, 40% fly ball rate, 11% barrel is the 130 WRC plus. Detroit offense sucks. You know what I mean? They're just not good. 289 team OBP. Yikes. And they're not running only 4 steals in the last 500 PAs. That's a 675 OPS, 6% walk rate. I mean, they're not winning in the zone. They're swinging and missing. They put the ball on the ground a ton. 86 WRC plus for the Tigres. I didn't go full game on this one, although, you know what? I think I might have printed full game because I like the price. I do think LA runs away with it, but I think the safer play, the sharper play is probably the F5. I was being a bit cowardly. Maybe that would have been the difference. I think maybe I'm more confident with a run. They should beat either one of these guys. Angels should tear them both up. I've got Angels through 5. I've got Angels full game. Avoiding the totals because I do have those right on the nose. Well, I've got the splits up and we have a second. I want to see if I maybe bring up some player stuff. Lorenzen's been pretty brutal against righties, actually batting 272. He's not walking any of them. And I don't know. I guess he's been okay at home, just average. It's weird. This is one of the things, again, if you're familiar with my pitching sheets, I format everything, conditional formatting. We want to see the highest in the slate, the lowest in the slate. We want to see disparities. That gets thrown off when it's only 5 games, right? So, the worst, again, I'm not expecting much offense today. Lorenzen's all blue. 256 batting average allowed at home, just not that bad. 1.2 homer 9 allowed at home. Okay, not that bad. So give me LA through 5. Let's move it on up to the east side. Oh, where the Nats and Mets are playing in the sky high. It's my boy Josiah Gray and the Nats plus 165 dogs on the road on a bump against Kodai Senga and the Let's Go Mets go minus 102. Slight faves at home. Gee, let's not bury the lead here. OPMG, good morning. Cop-up status. I want to go under the 4. We're going under 5 here. Right? Did I get that as well? I want to make sure I got that as well. Yeah, I want to make sure we're getting 5 here, not 4.5. First, quick lesson here about reading the tape. This is a really good one. So let's knock this one. Let's not bury the lead. I get sidetracked sometimes. We're gonna go U5, but let's read the tape. Jay's using BetStamp, right? BetStamp.app/call to the pen. Tell him I sent you. Thing here, one of the, let's say, more applicable uses of BetStamp. One of the reasons I like how I use it in particular. I call it reading the tape. It's a trading term. ID being having your eye on different prices all at once, especially in a market that's dynamic, like betting, which moves, might give you an idea, not say of the future, but which direction we were going. I'll give you an example. Of course, I mean, listen, I hate to brag, but that's one thing I'm known for. Like, I'm known for CLV. Like, that's why I've been in this business for so long. That's why win or lose, very rarely do people come at my throat or knock me. Aside from being transparent and extremely handsome, we're in front of the market all the time. I mean, we put an open contest out a month ago. I guess people forgot. No one hit it. Again, if you find a line that we lost, you can't go with 5 cents. We're not doing that. Let's say I put out a total that moves a half a run in the other direction. You call it out. I'll send you a cool baseball card. I got some cool Vlad Guerrero colors. I got some Acuna colors, Juan Soto colors, base cards. Not base, colored raw cards. I'll be glad to send you. Take the open challenge from me. Again, I think I have a good feeling of what the public looks for, and I incorporate that, the directionality of the line. So let's get back into how reading the tape can help you. Jeff says, love the under F5. Great pitches, much better on the road. We'll get to that in a second. And Sang is a damn GOAT right now. He looks so good. He's going to be like a top 20 or 25 starter for me next year in fantasy. Guaranteed. He's so good. Okay, back to the market, reading the board. And how you could use it to trail theoreticals to secure CLV for yourself. Today's a perfect example. We're under on 5. You turn on betstamp.app and you see a couple of 4.5s. Just a few of them. You notice the 5s are starting to take a little bit of juice, right? When these totals start getting to 120 and 125, minus 120, minus 125. The next step generally, 130, and then you'll see books start to move. So that's the tape, the fluid market as it moves. We want to be under 5. You start to see 4.5s. It means hit it now. Let's say you were fading that play. I'm a big fat moron. You hate me and I smell funny. So you go against all my bets. If you faded everything this year, you're not doing very well. I guess if you fade the show picture, doing just okay. We're around flat. If you're fading my sub picture, I'm not doing well at all. But let's say you were doing that. And you were looking to go over. You could use that to your real advantage as well. You put it on, you see the 5. You should never really be looking to smash even numbers on the F5, especially when it's 5 anyway. But when you see a couple of 4.5s with the juice going, right, you should know throttle. Wait for the 4. We'll either seek out the 4.5 to go over, or if it's not in your book, wait, you're going to go with it. So there's like the best lesson that I can give you in a couple minutes about how we can use things like BetStamp beyond just finding the better price. How we actually use it as a tool to understand directionality. Feather. Boop. Achieved. Listen, some of the stuff that we bring to you here, I call to the pen that we get to do on shorter slates that I don't think other show, I don't know if they necessarily even understand this stuff, let alone well enough to explain it, let alone do they care enough to do it. So let's move it up. Josiah Gray on the bump. I love Josiah Gray, by the way. 3.45 ERA, kind of masking the 1.45 whip, 7.55 OPS. 20% K is a bit low. The 10% walks a bit high. The 38 balls a bit high. 58 first strikes too low. I'm sorry. The thing here is, though, again, sharpest comment section on the web. The splits are so pronounced. Okay, Washington is like a launching pad, and it doesn't get the credit as such. Matt's got a home run bonanza for the Mets today. Ooh, this will be interesting to see. So you're kind of up against this, Matt. Josiah Gray, quite literally, he's been a different pitcher on the road, and that's including the homers. Again, Washington really plays up to the home runs. But Matt says, but he's heavily biased. In case you didn't know, Matt is a tremendous Mets fan. Although I got to give it up, Matt, you and I, again, not to keep, pumping us up to sound arrogant or anything, but it's the truth. For like a Yankee fan, I hate them. For a Mets fan, I don't mean like you hate them, but like we don't bet them, and like, oh man, you got to be careful because John's on the Yankees there, Matt's on the Mets. Like, it's almost the other way. If I'm on the Yankees, you really need to go get it because I do everything I can to not bet them. I know you can kind of do the same thing. William Craig, what's going on, man? Appreciate you. Says PointsBet has an F5 under 5.5 minus 145. Thank you for putting the price. Though 145 is a bit further than I like to go for totals, the fact you're getting the extra run is, I would say, go to it. So if we could have gotten that one, Jay, I didn't even think about that. I saw 4.5, so that's where the tape is going because I was looking. There are other books. Not betting on the home run bonanza. Say just high grade on the road. Let's back to it. 2.74 ERA, 3/4 of a home run per nine. Right, generally what gets him in trouble. Sub-3 ERA last 400 pitches thrown. So he's been pretty good. Other side, Cody Senga, 3.27 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, 6.42 OPS. But man, my boy looking really great as of late. He was struggling with the control. Coming overseas, lots of changes and stuff. You got to give time for those adjustments. And now I think we've seen that. 30% K rate. Yeah, the 12% walk is seriously high. But Senga is, again, you got to split baseball stats here. That's right here. How about this? So if we go back, I got last 6 starts, less than 3 walks per 9, which is, it's not great. But it's not like throw the baby out with a bathwater. There's 7% walk rate for the percentage folks out there. Big difference between book bad handicapper saying walk machine over walks. Although, Jay, we have that. Speaking of which, bring up this walk prop. Sometimes Senga comes in at 2.5. And I probably go under the 2.5 there, especially with the Washington disciplinary basket is pretty strong. We've been covering that all year. So Senga, I'm loving. He's got all the swing and miss stuff. He's really, the location metrics are starting to check out now. The ball rate on the season is too high, but again, it's coming down. The ground ball rate at 47%, which we love. Barrel rate below 6, which we love. Check this out. He has a 220 batting average. Max lefty-righty split. I mean, he's been death on lefties. 558 OPS, 188 batting average against Senga's been just been awesome. And very, very good at home. 2.5 ERA, sub-homer 9, 177 batting average allowed in the crib. 2.6 ERA last 400 pitches. I mean, he's been very, very good. Matt has another one. I don't know if they do this one. Man, they really should. I think that's like an offshore thing. Believe it or not, I think my bookie does it. Matt is mentioning the reversal people. He's under on the F5, but could see the full game spinning away. I don't know if they allow the over-under combo. They should, because I know they do that with the wins. Let's put some context to it, why this bet actually makes sense. Washington bullpen is atrocious. Do not bet Washington to win. Do not bet Washington full game unders. Last 40 and 2/3. That's an 8.6 ERA, 1.8 WHIP 3, 25 batting average allowed, 9% barrel, nearly 2 homer 9. Mets 5 ERA last 37 and 2/3, 1.6 ERA, 41 fly ball, 39 hard hit. Yikes, yowzers. In general, though, I generally subscribe to that in the first place. If I'm betting on pitching in this hitting environment, I'm under F5. If I want to score, I'm going to pretty much go with the over. There are a few cases where there are bad starters, lockdown bullpens, that perhaps I flip it, but generally that's my rule. So we're going to go with the under Washington and the Mets. I think I also, the strikeout props are not listed. I think I also have a Tommy Pham under 1 strikeout at plus 140. Again, to give you an idea of, we mentioned at the open, again, being malleable, again, being open to softer markets. And again, I love plus odds, of course. Man, there's just something to be said for these strikeout props at this price. Check it out. Tommy Pham, last 72 plate appearances. I got 8 strikeouts. That's pretty damn good. That's an 11% K rate. He's at plus 140 against Josiah Gray, who has not really K'ing anybody. In particular, righties. I put this up on my sheet, by the way. Josiah Gray, 18.5 strikeout rate to righties. And the Washington bullpen is terrible. So Pham's been excellent as well. Middle of the order, so you might even get that last PA cut off. Also, Mets are at home. Mets are favorites. Something, Matt, you and I have not discussed, but that should be part of the calculus. As you know, I'm like really into this now, but that's got to be part of the calculus also. Home team favorite. The same things we don't like about over total bases, right? Which makes a lot of sense. You might lose that ninth frame. We want to lose the ninth frame. So I'm wheels up with Tommy Pham. If we can't find it, I'm definitely going to hit it. Jay, was the Senga walk prop up? Sorry, I talked right through it. Well, it's actually at 2, huh? Pretty impressive. Good for Cody Senga dropping the walk props. Dropping his own prop. Man, I don't know. Under 2. I mean, I don't know. He's a pop for 2 walks. He has only walked 1 in 2 of the last 3. But he's had at least 2 walks in 3 of the last 5, and then it kind of runs. So, no, I'm going to avoid that one. The price not really tempting enough for me. I know Washington doesn't really walk, though the offense not great. You know, 6 WRC plus for Washington, 81 for the Mets. Mets have a 205 team batting average. That's 500 plate appearances. Yikes. Just so bad. Jeff L says, oh, how do we get other books to start taking hitter props and walk props? I don't know. Let's tweet them. You know, tweet them. Tweet them and tag me. I'll retweet it and maybe we can get a go. In fact, that's how we got some of the F5 stuff up, believe it or not. It was very hard to find. And, you know, books started picking it up. We were at FTN and we'd have people kind of do this, you know, do these kind of, not say retweet campaigns, but people, you know, using the amplification of social media. I have 11,000 followers, whatever the hell that means. That and $1 will get you a cup of coffee under the train station. But the companies care about that stuff. So let's get the under. It's funny because we actually have bets. Next up, it's the Baby Bears from the north side of the track, nice part of the Windy City, leaving Chicago, heading near that beautiful arch in Missouri. It's Justin Steele, who can't go left. And Miles Michaelis on the bump. Justin Steele, very good. 2.95 ERA, 111 whip. I mean, all the indicators in place. 3.29 expected ERA, 5% walk, 32.5 ball rate, 35 O swing, 49 ground ball. I mean, the control is there. He's keeping it down. The K rate of 23 is not great, but 11.5 swing strike is not bad. The called strikes are really low, which again, I try not to overreact to. The contact rate is high. He's very good around the low edges. But again, it's manifested in the high ground ball rate, very low hard hit rates. He's a 22% hard hit rate via Fangraphs. Sub 2% blast, half a homer 9, a 274 expected WOBA. Those are all incredible. And he's been very good at home. Sub 3 ERA, 3.5 xFIP, right? So meaning even with the home run stuff, it's okay. He's been very, very good. He has I think it's a sub 3. He has a 315 Sierra recent split. Over to Michaelis. I don't know why I can't play. Every time I just to preface this to be fully transparent as always, every time I go up against Michaelis, I get smoked. I don't know what it is. You look at this guy's numbers, and you're like, how does he manage to beat us all the time? I don't know. I just don't know. But it happens constantly. And all the indicators are trash. The disciplinary basket is trash. I feel like I must have had him in that White Sox game where he went 7-0, and then there's like 4s, 5s, 6s just littered through here. I'm shocked that St. Louis isn't even here. Let's go with the F5. Oh, say his name 3 times and he shall appear. Dream that. Were your ears ringing, bro? Your ears must have been ringing. My boy from FTN, MLB Dream, up in the house. We'll get to that question in a second. Let's smash this Cubs F5 first. I just can't get what Michael is. 4.3 ERA, masking a 1.3 whip. All the indicators up near 5. 60% K is too low. 7% swing strike is too low. 24.5 CSW is too low. He's a 16% whiff rate with a 9% miss, 90% zone contact. Again, I looked through some contact metrics. One thing that Savant is very good with, I put this on my sheet. Again, it's a couple cents a day. It's even if you don't follow the picks, this should make your handicapping a little easier. That miss box is the meatball zone. Like it's not a 9-box zone on Savant. It's got whatever, like 18 or 22 sections in the strike zone. The miss section is the dead up middle garbage. And now again, we have to apply a little bit of nuance. Shane McClanahan, Spencer Strider, Joe Ryan even. Those guys might be able to miss, right? Felix Bautista. Maybe he can miss middle and still make you look like a foolio. This is not Miles Michaelis. Miles Michaelis cannot put the ball dead center 9% of the time with a 90% zone contact. I feel like this one's going to mush. He's going to mush. Really tough split against lefties. So maybe we like probably the Bellinger prop. Maybe the hat prop. Again, but I like Cubs through 5. So let's go Cubs through 5. Also, bring that up for me, Jay. The lefties total base props. I know I've been kind of avoiding that, but I just want to mash Michaelis. It's pissing me off. It's pissing me off at this point. Yeah, it's really all about Bellinger. If he's got a plus next to his name on a total basis, we want that. Yeah, we'll take the plus 110. Let's do it. So we're gonna go for Cubs to mash. Give us the Cubs 5. Again, I'm a little bit worried about the St. Louis offense, right? Let's not mask anything. Cubs always been good. Even a little bit better than St. Louis, but the St. Louis offense is very good. 285 team BA, 838 team OPS. That's a 131 WRC plus. They're taking their walks. They're not swinging and missing. Hitting in the zone. You know what I mean? But they not pulling the ball. They're not lifting the ball. That's hurt the power output. The Cubbies right now rocking and rolling. Really, it's funny. I like to highlight this. When they're playing All-Star ball. Hold on, Matt. I see you. We're gonna do Dreaming in that. I had that come up also. I have that printed. I love you. Cubs offense right now, playing all-star ball. What do I mean? The reason I like to look at these teams in terms of waves and stuff, give you an idea of just how impactful. Think of the Cubs as a squad right now are an all-star. The entire lineup is an all-star. 500 plate appearances, 19 homers, 20 steals, 301 batting average, 377 OBP, 873 OPS, 9.5 walk, 375 wOBA, 137 WRC plus. The Cubs, just as a squad, are an all-star right now. That's only 500 PAs. You add another 1/5. You're at 25, 300, 95 runs. I mean, it's really rare rocking right now. So let's go with Bellinger. Let's go with the Baby Bears. Let me hop into the comment section. Guys, really thank you so much. You made me the move to 9:30, and I thought the show was going to go to hell and get canceled. Dream says, MLB Dream, follow him up on Twitter. Question for you, Johnny. How much, if at all, do you downgrade pitchers facing the same team again in back-to-back starts? That's a really good question. I don't care. I don't care. I feel like we've seen so many iterations of this, right? Meaning think of a combination. Bad start, good starts. Bad start, good start. That I don't know. Maybe this is where something like you or I, hopefully people that have their eye in the games and eye in the nuance and some advanced statistics and stuff, they maybe pick up on a regression shot, right? So we're not so much reacting to the fact that we're back-to-back as much as, I don't know, man, did you see that last one? It was a bad call, and it was a bloop, and then it collapsed afterwards, and I'm not buying it. I think that's maybe how we want to be using it the same as always, nuance and context to the fore. I'm going to be honest, Dream. I hear people quote it. For me, man, I hate doing right and wrong stuff because that's not my style, dude. For me, I kind of put that in the BVP, the batter versus pitcher basket of theoretically and instinctively there could be something there. That's why I don't want to discard it. But however, the math doesn't really check out, but the samples are so small. So you can see, right? You see the difficulty. If it bothers you, I think this we could say for certainty. If it bothers you, leave it alone. There's always the best advice. I mean, and you know this, Dream. Those free picks that you put out, everybody make sure you check and Dream out for that stuff, are excellent, right? And I know what it's like to pick one play. You got to pick one play. Dude, it's very difficult, and you're doing a great job at it. So, I wouldn't put those on my one play is where I'm going, right? If I have a robust ticket and I'm playing with volume, I wouldn't think twice about it. If I'm wholly focused on trying to get people, to look at this one thing and counting records on a singular basis, I'd probably fade it. Maddie, my boy, says, wait, where was that? Oh, he's got the Mike Talkman under K. I was just hawking all of the Cubs. Matt, I think I do you one better. I also have the one of the better, cooler Italian names in the league. Miles Mastrobone also he's not striking out at all. Maddie mentions Talkman. My one question for you, Matt, I wonder if I was struggling because Talkman's been leading off, and now you kind of assured the extra plate appearance. The Cubs are also on the road, kind of assuring the ninth frame. So I wonder if that kind of dinged you. That's what got me off of Talkman and onto Miles. But again, I mean, these guys are just not striking out. They're looking very good. The Cubs, from a disciplinary standpoint, have really kind of stepped it up. Talkman again has 40 PAs. He's got a 12.5 K rate. He's just doing it. I mean, Bellinger's not striking out either, although I think he was listed at 1.5. Dream coming back at us. Appreciate you, man. I hate having to pick one play a day doing. I hear you. I that's what I'm saying. I appreciate what you do. Like I know how hard it is. Not Jamokes that complain. Oh, you missed 3 in a row. I'm not that you're missing 3 in a row, but it's freaking variant baseball, dude. Anyway, Dream says I give a slight upgrade to the hitters, but I generally agree with you. I'm not much into BVP either. I was surprised to see Steele's K back at 5.5 even. Yeah, agreed. Probably has more to do with St. Louis. Like St. Louis is just cooking right now. Although we've seen them strike out, and we've seen Steele work the strikeout pitch. So yeah, I just wouldn't let him shake me up. Matty, of course, so solid in his methodology. Says, I don't discriminate once it reaches a certain price point. Again, why I say this comment section is the sharpest in the game. Like, these are legitimate professionals giving their legitimate advice that they could, should, do, get paid for. Okay, so rate, review, and subscribe because it matters more than it should. Let's do the last game and get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of a different edition of the show. It's Tanner Bybee and Dylan Cease. This one too, man. I'm kind of fading this one. I managed to find an under, but again, that was the tape reading situation. We want to go under the 4.5, but you could see it's kind of, a little hard to find, although we got 2. So if we can get under 4.5, 115, that's what I want, not bury the lead. Bybee, very good for the guards. He's been really good. 275 expected WOBA. Even good on the good against both sides, which is something that I kind of worry about with rookies, whether or not to be able to get lefties as a right-handed hitter. Sometimes the off-speed stuff doesn't move the way they want, and they end up kind of choking up. But Bybee, 565 OPS to lefties, quarter homer 9. Like, he's been really good. Cease also. Okay, Cease, we got to be careful. He's a real sine wave guy. He's got some stats here that you're just not buying, right? 4 ERA, 1.3 whip. You got to look at the recent stuff. We know Cease has the A stuff going, and lately he's been pretty damn good. So when Cease is starting to show the flashes that we saw last year, man, what was it, like 13 or 16 outings in a row of no runs? Like, this guy has ridiculously good stuff. And as much as he's a walk machine, he's one of the few guys that if you see 2 walks in the ledger, 3 walks on the ledger all the time, really not that big of a deal because he's starting to get those strikeouts going. He's got 9 strikeouts in 4 of 7. He's got 8 strikeouts in 5 of 8. He's starting to get going, and the offenses on both sides really kind of stink. Cleveland offense is kind of trash. I don't know the batting average there, but all the under the hood stuff is garbage. Like, they chase too much, they don't walk. They don't pull, they don't hit it hard. They don't strike out, and that's a plus. But I don't think they're going to be able to do much against Cease. And again, with 4.5 runs, we got some love baked in there. Chicago offense is just garbage right now. 289 team OBP, 669 OPS, 5% walk, 39 chase. Those are all bottom 3. 47% ground ball, 5.5 barrel, 81 WRC plus for the Pale Hose. They suck right now. They really suck right now. Although, again, since we're mentioning these K props, Eloy Jimenez, I was so bitter. That was the one that I complained about. I tweeted complaining. I'm going to complain about losing a bet. Eloy got rung up on a ball 4 that was just so far outside. 2 of those 3 pitches were well outside the zone. Eloy Jimenez being seen as a strikeout machine. He's been fantastic as far as discipline stuff goes as of late. Right, Eloy Jimenez 8.5% walk rate last 34 PAs. I think the 30-day one is good as well. 14% K rate last 85 PAs. Eloy Jimenez is plus 185 to not strike out. Again, Bybee's been good. The strikeout stuff has not been fantastic, though. So I do really like those. I just love the odds and the possibility. And then we know Eloy's a fantastic hitter when he gets it going. Last up, it's Sandoval against Matt Manning on this side. I'm kind of leaving this one alone. Nothing is listed. I kind of want to see it. Also, I tend not to go after back-end doubleheader stuff until we see the first one play out. The reason is What if it goes extra innings and bullpens get burned up? What if there's like a critical an injury or something like that? People get scratched. Sometimes managers just want to split. So sometimes, especially the home team, you don't want to go over 2 in your crib same day. If they win the first one, you'll see the Joker lineup to back it up. So I'm just fading this one. We'll keep an eye on it. Again, you can follow me on Twitter. Make sure you're following Dream on Twitter. Make sure you follow Matty on Twitter. He just opened a Patreon. Go support these guys. Again, I like to think a lot of this stuff is cheap enough that you can use all of it. In fact, some of the best compliments I get are when, people say, "Wow, did you know that you're out of line with FTN projections today? Did you know that you're not in line with Derek Hardy's projections today?" And I'm not like, well, this or that. I'm just like, oh my God, it's amazing to be mentioned in the same breath as those people. So thank you all so much for supporting the show. Jay, scroll down and show them today's picks. So for the video people, if you're ever in a hurry, you can always scroll to the last 30, 60 seconds or so. And Jay will show you how we're rocking and rolling. Make sure you follow us on betstamp.app. I forgot the hardcore promo, but I can take a second to talk about it. Why it matters so much. Seriously, betstamp.app to the front of the line. Not only for the ability to get those live links to get you better pricing, but again, to read tail of the tape, right? To read the tape and see directionality before it happens. Man, wait till this stuff works in football as well. It's kind of amazing that nobody, again, I brought these market ideas, methods to sports betting, and I'm surprised it hasn't really happened yet. So I was working on it last year, and there's evidence that, especially end of the week, you could find CLV and NFL using this same methodology. So again, I know this is baseball, but the idea was to use BetStamp. So from Dream, Jeff L, Insight, Fire Sports, Matty Dubs, Gabriel, William Craig, Brian Rose, and everyone else, including Mr. Cooper on the 1s and 2s, Rob Pizzone with a pizza man. Thank you so much for picking up what we're putting down. Enjoy the games. Enjoy your day. When we're done with the book, enjoy that pay. Tomorrow's the live show, but it's a little bit different. Sorry that I caught a bit of a ding as far as scheduling goes. So it's going to be a short one. It's going to be a blitz one. We're going to focus just on the K package. And then if you want bets, you go hang out with Maddie. So take care. And remember, when you work this hard, it feels a lot less like luck, yo. Peace.